Meera, the hot spot is yours. You now have 60 seconds on why the 1970s pops your comedy cork. Your time starts now.
Thank you, Xander. My chosen decade for best comedy is the 70s, because let's face it, any decade that can come up with the mullet, high-waisted trousers and the Bay City Rollers has got a great sense of humour. Firstly, I was quite worried that I was just getting into nostalgia, because I was just remembering all the programmes I used to watch when I was a kid with my dad and laugh along, hysterically funny, because you laugh at anything when you're a kid. But when I actually look back at the clips, they're not only genuinely brilliantly written and acted comedies, they actually were so influential that they're the parents of many classic comedies today. So without Basil Fawlty, we wouldn't have David Brent or Alan Partridge. Without Monty Python, we'd never have had The League of Gentlemen or Little Britain. Dad's Army and Steptoe's Son are character comedy at their peak. And Morecambe and Wise, well, no one's ever been sillier, sweeter or funnier. You may think the 70s was all flappy flares and trouser-splitting disco moves, but wait till you see the clips and you'll realise we never had it so good.
Well, thank you, Meera Syal. And I've got to say, the 1970s gets my vote, no question.
Oh, you said that. You're so fickle.
Well, what do the rest of you think? 70s?
I love Meera's choices, but I'd like to point out that at least 3 of those started in the 60s.
Had their roots in the 60s, yeah.
So, yeah, you know.
Interesting.
There's a crossover.
Maybe they started, but they flowered in the 70s, under the 70s climate. That was...
Or we could form a conglomerate and just win it together.
Fine, OK.
Yeah, we could do that.
Dirty.
Then the 80s will mount a hostile takeover bid.
Of course.
And then in Frankie's decade, we'd lose all our money because of the interest rates.
Wasn't Love Thy Neighbour on in the 70s?
Yeah, actually, you said earlier that, I mean, that was probably the worst decade for all the really kind of, you know, big...
That's all you need to know, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that overrides everything.
But
the 70s is cack, full stop.
You look at Love Thy Neighbour now and you think, God, that's so embarrassing. But at the time, it was really revolutionary to even have a black character in a comedy. Yeah. The same with Alf Garnett, you know.
Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't get the irony,
That's exactly right. No.
Yeah, I hate black people and all.
No, believe me, I had to put up with that in the playground the next day. You always knew when it had been on, because the next day you get all the catchphrases coming back at you. But nevertheless, I still think it's better that people were trying to say something about the world through comedy and making a few mistakes, and just, like we do now, go right back and be afraid to say anything at all.
Oh, right, Terry and June, then.
Right. No, that was racist.
June! Do you think they just had, like, a timer in the office when they were writing a script? Should he say it now? Put a June in, quick. June!